Grab a comfy seat and your favorite hot drink, because once Sarah starts exploring, there's no slowing her down.
Over the last few days, we have traveled through towering mountains, cruised among waterfalls, and explored some of the wildest landscapes in New Zealand. But today, the adventure takes us somewhere completely different. Because instead of looking at the mountains, we are going inside them, into a hidden world of underground rivers, ancient passages, and thousands of tiny lights glowing in the darkness. Welcome to Te Anau, where one of Fiordland's greatest secrets lies beneath the surface. Before any responsible campervan adventure begins, there is one important job to do, a job that never seems to appear on travel posters: the dump station. Fresh water goes in, wastewater comes out, everything gets cleaned, and Luna is ready for another day on the road. It may not be glamorous, but it helps keep New Zealand's incredible camping network clean and enjoyable for everyone.
I never imagined emptying tanks would become part of my travel achievements.
Road trips have a funny way of lowering the bar for personal victories. With Luna ready for the day, we spend some time exploring Te Anau, often called the gateway to Fiordland. This lakeside town is much more than a place travelers pass through. It sits beside Lake Te Anau, the second largest lake in New Zealand by surface area, and one of the most beautiful lakes in the entire country. Surrounded by mountains, native forest, and crystal clear water, it is easy to understand why so many visitors end up staying longer than planned. Many people use Te Anau simply as a base for Milford Sound. But today, we are heading somewhere many visitors do not even realize exists. The caves we are visiting today are known as Te Anau, often translated as the swirling cave. The name comes from the powerful water flowing through the cave system, and once you hear that water for yourself, the name makes perfect sense. What many visitors do not realize is that these caves remained hidden from the wider world for generations. The upper entrance was rediscovered in 1948 by local explorer Lawson Burroughs after years of searching and following clues, preserved through Maori stories and local knowledge. Today, that discovery allows visitors like us to experience one of Fiordland's most remarkable hidden places.
So somebody spent years looking for a cave.
And I struggle to find my sunglasses when they are sitting on top of my head. While we make our way toward the caves, here is something that completely surprised me. Before people arrived in New Zealand, there were no native deer, no rabbits, no foxes, and no squirrels. In fact, New Zealand's only native land mammals were bats. Because there were almost no land mammals, birds evolved to fill many of the roles mammals perform elsewhere in the world. That helps explain why New Zealand's wildlife feels so different from almost anywhere else on Earth.
So the birds basically took over the country.
Judging by some of the seagulls we have met, I think they still run parts of it. The adventure begins with a boat journey across Lake Te Anau, because the caves can only be reached from the water. As we leave the shoreline behind, the mountains rise around us, and Fiordland slowly reveals another side of itself. The lake becomes wider, the forests become denser, and the feeling of heading somewhere hidden grows stronger with every passing minute. It feels less like visiting an attraction, and more like setting off on an expedition into a forgotten corner of New Zealand. Stepping into the cave, everything changes. The temperature drops, the daylight fades away, and the sound of rushing water echoes through the darkness. What makes these caves especially fascinating is that they are surprisingly young in geological terms. Scientists estimate the cave system formed around 12,000 years ago, which means the landscape is still changing today. Water continues carving passages through the limestone, creating new features and slowly reshaping the world hidden beneath the mountains. The deeper we go, the louder the water becomes. A powerful underground river rushes through the cave system, squeezing through narrow passages, tumbling over hidden waterfalls, and continuing its journey toward Lake Te Anau. The sound fills every chamber. It is a reminder that even in complete darkness, nature never really stands still.
Imagine trying to explain this place to someone before cameras existed.
I am not entirely convinced they would believe you. Then comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. The Glowworm grotto. The lights go out, and suddenly, tiny blue lights begin appearing overhead, then hundreds more, then thousands. What surprised me most was not how bright they were. It was how many there were. thousands of tiny lights stretching into the darkness, like somebody had turned the night sky upside down and hidden it beneath a mountain. As our boat drifts quietly through the grotto, the glow seems endless. For a few moments, it feels less like a cave and more like floating through a living galaxy. Despite the name, glowworms are not actually worms. They are the larval stage of a small insect called a fungus gnat. The glow is produced through a natural chemical reaction inside their bodies. The light attracts tiny insects, which become trapped in delicate silk threads hanging from the cave ceiling. It sounds almost unbelievable, yet it is happening all around us, and somehow, understanding the science behind it only makes it more fascinating. Eventually, our underground adventure comes to an end. We step back into daylight, and Fiordland welcomes us once again. The mountains seem brighter, the lake feels larger, and the fresh air somehow feels even fresher than before. It is amazing to think that while most visitors admire the spectacular scenery above, an entirely different world has been quietly hidden beneath their feet all along. Today reminded us that some of the most extraordinary places are not always the easiest to find, from Lake Te Anau to underground rivers to thousands of living lights glowing in the darkness. This was a side of Fiordland many travelers never get to experience.
Over the last few days, we've explored some of the most remote and spectacular landscapes in New Zealand: towering mountains, ancient rainforests, waterfalls tumbling from impossible heights, roads that disappear into clouds, and wilderness stretching far beyond the horizon. Today, however, the adventure changes direction. We're leaving Fiordland behind and heading toward Queenstown, a place where mountain scenery meets lakeside charm, historic steamships, incredible viewpoints, and enough adventure activities to keep even the most energetic traveler busy for weeks.
I've heard people describe Queenstown in a lot of ways. Some call it the adventure capital of New Zealand. Some call it the most beautiful town in the country. And some simply call it the place where your holiday budget suddenly develops wings and flies away.
Hopefully we can avoid that last one.
We will see.
Before leaving camp, we're doing something we've made a habit throughout this South Island journey: a route and weather check. Winter conditions can change quickly in this part of New Zealand, so before setting off, we're confirming the latest road information and route conditions.
It's not the most exciting part of travel, but it's definitely one of the smartest.
We also touch base regarding our travel plans before heading north. The roads look good, the weather looks promising, and Luna, our Pegasus Adventures camper van, is ready for another adventure.
Honestly, Luna has become part of the family at this point, a slightly larger family member with a kitchen and excellent storage.
As we join State Highway 6, the landscape immediately begins to impress. Soon we're driving along one of the most famous sections of road in the country, the Devil's Staircase.
Despite the dramatic name, the only dangerous thing here is how often you'll want to stop for photographs.
The road winds along the edge of Lake Wakatipu, hugging steep hillsides while offering spectacular views across the water. Every corner reveals another mountain, another bay, another view that somehow looks even better than the last.
This doesn't feel like a normal road. It feels like a scenic highlight reel.
The Devil's Staircase earned its name because of the steep terrain and challenging route early travelers faced in this area. Today, it's one of New Zealand's most iconic drives.
And thankfully, much easier than it was back then. I prefer my adventures with fewer horses and more seat heaters.
Throughout the drive, Lake Wakatipu remains our constant companion, and this lake has a fascinating secret.
It's one of those facts that sounds made up, but isn't.
Lake Wakatipu experiences a natural phenomenon called a siege. Changes in atmospheric pressure and wind conditions cause the water level to rise and fall slightly every 25 minutes or so.
The lake is literally moving while we're looking at it.
It's one of the longest lakes in New Zealand, stretching approximately 80 kilometers through the mountains. And no matter where you stand along the shoreline, the scenery is extraordinary. While enjoying the lakeside views, we spot one of the region's most elegant residents, the New Zealand crested greba.
These birds always look like they're attending a formal event.
Known locally as putagateke, they're expert divers and spend much of their time hunting beneath the water. Unlike ducks, they can stay underwater for surprisingly long periods while searching for food,
which becomes slightly frustrating when you're trying to film them. Every time I point the camera at one, it disappears.
They're very good at that. As Queenstown gets closer, one mountain range begins dominating the skyline, the Remarkables.
And for once, the name isn't exaggerated.
The Remarkables are among the most photographed mountains in New Zealand. Their jagged peaks rise dramatically above Lake Wakatipu and create one of the country's most recognizable landscapes.
In winter, they're even more impressive. Fresh snow covers the upper slopes, cloud drifts between the peaks, and every direction looks like a postcard.
The Remarkables ski area is one of New Zealand's most popular winter destinations and attracts visitors from around the world.
Looking at the slopes, it's very easy to understand why.
Eventually, we roll into Queenstown, and the atmosphere changes immediately.
After the quiet wilderness of Fiordland, Queenstown feels alive. People are everywhere. Restaurants are busy. The waterfront is buzzing. And somehow, the mountains still steal the spotlight.
Queenstown's modern tourism story really began in the 1960s and 70s. Since then, it has become one of the most famous travel destinations in the Southern Hemisphere.
And once you arrive, it's easy to see why.
One of the best ways to experience Queenstown is simply walking along the waterfront.
There's something relaxing about being here. The lake stretches out in front of you, the mountains surround the town, and there's always something happening nearby.
Street performers entertain visitors, historic buildings mix with modern cafes, and every few minutes, somebody stops to take another photo of the view.
Which is understandable. I've probably taken 20 already.
20 today.
Let's not count the rest.
Waiting at the wharf is one of Queenstown's most famous attractions, the TSS Earnslaw.
And she's absolutely beautiful.
Launched in 1912, the Earnslaw has been carrying passengers across Lake Wakatipu for more than a century. She's affectionately known as the Lady of the Lake.
And unlike many historic ships, she's still doing exactly what she was built to do.
The steam engines remain operational. Visitors can watch them working, and stepping aboard feels like traveling back in time.
The views aren't bad either. Mountains in every direction, fresh alpine air, and enough scenery to fill an entire memory card.
As evening approaches, we head for one of Queenstown's most iconic experiences, the Skyline Gondola.
This is where Queenstown really shows off.
The gondola climbs high above the town, revealing incredible panoramic views across Lake Wakatipu, Queenstown, and the surrounding mountain ranges.
The higher we climb, the more unbelievable the scenery becomes.
At the summit, we're rewarded with one of the best views in New Zealand.
It's impossible to look in the wrong direction. Every view is spectacular.
Tonight, we're enjoying dinner at Stratosphere Restaurant, and honestly, it's difficult to know what deserves more attention, the food or the view.
I keep looking out the window, then back at my plate, then back at the window. It's a very pleasant dilemma.
As the sun begins setting behind the mountains, the entire landscape changes color. The lake reflects the fading light, snow-covered peaks glow softly, and Queenstown begins to sparkle below. Just when we think the day can't get any cooler, literally, we visit the Below Zero Ice Bar.
Apparently, spending the day surrounded by snowy mountains wasn't enough.
Inside, almost everything is made from ice. The sculptures, the walls, even the glasses.
It's definitely one of the most unique places we've visited, although I spent most of the time trying not to touch anything for too long.
A surprisingly sensible strategy. Today was about transitions, from wilderness to city, from remote mountain roads to vibrant waterfronts, from quiet valleys to one of New Zealand's most exciting destinations.
And somehow Queenstown manages to combine all of it. Adventure, history, nature, food, views, and a whole lot of fun.
Tomorrow the adventure continues, and if Queenstown has taught us anything today, it's that New Zealand still has plenty of surprises waiting. Today looks simple. A scenic drive, a few famous stops, maybe an ice cream, maybe some mountains. What could possibly go wrong? Then I looked at the route and realized we're driving through some of the most spectacular scenery in New Zealand, which means our biggest challenge today. We'll be making any progress at all, because every 5 minutes there's another viewpoint demanding attention. Before setting off, we've got the GPS loaded, route checked, roads confirmed. And yes, everything today is on sealed public roads, which is good because mountain roads already provide enough excitement on their own. Let's hit the road. Many people say this is one of the most beautiful drives in New Zealand. After about 10 minutes, I can see why. The road hugs the edge of Lake Wakatipu. Mountains rise straight from the water, and every corner reveals another ridiculous view. Honestly, at this point, the scenery feels like it's competing with itself. Lake Wakatipu is New Zealand's third largest lake, and according to local legend, its rhythmic rise and fall is caused by the heartbeat of a sleeping giant beneath the water. Now, scientifically, it's actually caused by a natural phenomenon called a siege. But honestly, the giant story is much more fun. Our first stop is 7 Mile Scenic Reserve, a peaceful stretch of native forest right beside the lake. The walking tracks here are easy, the views are incredible, and the bird life can be surprisingly active. Listen carefully, and you might hear tui, or bellbirds, singing in the trees. New Zealand birds don't just make sounds. Some of them sound like they're trying to start their own music careers. Honestly, a few of these birds could probably release an album, and I'd buy it. Alright, standing here at Athelian Camp is jaw-dropping. I know this is going to sound strange, but I have a feeling we're being followed. Every time we stop, something moves in the trees. Every time we start walking, I hear leaves crunching behind us. Now, this could either be the beginning of a wildlife documentary, or I've officially watched too many adventure movies. So we quietly waited, turned around, and there it was, a young red deer, standing completely still, looking at us like we were the unusual ones.
So all this time, you thought you were tracking wildlife. Turns out the wildlife was tracking you.
And judging by that look, I think it was deciding whether we were worth following. Thankfully, we passed the inspection, although I still think it wanted my lunch. Red deer aren't native to New Zealand. They were introduced from Scotland and England during the 1800s for hunting. Today, they're found throughout much of the South Island, especially in mountain forests like these. During the colder winter months, they'll often move down from higher elevations, looking for easier feeding, which means, if you're lucky, you might just have an unexpected audience while you're out walking. Eventually, we arrive in Glenorchy, population around a few hundred people, views several $1 million worth. This tiny village sits at the northern end of Lake Wakatipu, surrounded by mountains on nearly every side, and somehow feels both remote and welcoming at the same time. The historic red shed on the waterfront has become one of the most photographed buildings in New Zealand, which must be quite a confidence boost for a shed. Standing here at the wharf, you begin to understand why people keep coming back. The water reflects the mountains like a mirror. The air feels impossibly fresh, and the scenery stretches in every direction. This is one of those rare places where you stop filming for a moment just to enjoy being there, and honestly, that's usually the sign of somewhere special. As we head back toward Queenstown, the scenery somehow refuses to calm down. Little Stony Creek delivers another spectacular mountain backdrop. Very well-known movies were filmed around the Deer Park Heights area overlooking Queenstown, which means we've officially spent a large part of today driving through Middle-earth. And honestly, I'm completely okay with that. Next stop, Lake Hayes, often called one of the most photographed lakes in New Zealand. And after one look, the reason becomes obvious. The walking trail circles the shoreline, offering beautiful reflections of the surrounding mountains. And on calm days, the water becomes almost perfectly still. It looks less like a lake, and more like somebody accidentally placed a giant mirror in the landscape.
This is the first lake I've seen that seems to have mastered photography.
Absolutely. It knows its angles. Now we arrive in one of New Zealand's most charming towns, Arrowtown, a place that feels like stepping back into the 19th century. The town grew rapidly during the Otago gold rush of the 1860s. Thousands of miners arrived, hoping to strike it rich. Some succeeded, many didn't, but the history remains everywhere you look. The old wooden buildings, historic shopfronts, and beautifully preserved streets. A short walk brings us to the historic Chinese settlement, built by Chinese miners who came here during the gold rush. The restored cottages provide a fascinating glimpse into an important chapter of New Zealand's history.
Exploring history works up an appetite, which brings us to Patagonia chocolates, and more importantly, ice cream.
At this point, it would be irresponsible not to stop, purely for cultural research. Naturally,
Your research seems to involve an impressive number of desserts.
game committed to accuracy, the viewers deserve thorough investigations. Now for one of New Zealand's most famous mountain roads, the Crown Range Road, the highest main-sealed road in the country, reaching over 1,000 meters above sea level. As we climb higher, the views become bigger, the valleys deeper, and the mountains more dramatic. This is where keeping an eye on the vehicle really matters. Steep grades, sharp bends, and scenery capable of distracting even the most focused driver. Thankfully, we're taking it slow, enjoying the journey, and making sure the camper van enjoys it too. Our final stop today is Cardrona, home to one of New Zealand's most famous hotels. The Cardrona Hotel, built in 1863 and still welcoming travelers more than 160 years later, nearby. You'll also find the famous Cardrona Bra Fence, one of the country's strangest roadside attractions, proof that sometimes the most unexpected landmarks become the most memorable. And fascinatingly, New Zealand has a wonderful habit of embracing its quirky side. From lakes and mountains to film locations and gold rush history, today felt like several adventures packed into one. And tomorrow, the journey continues.
If you ever want to discover how much faith you have in a camper van, I recommend taking it into the mountains in winter. Today, Luna is taking us into New Zealand's Alpine heartland, where the roads get steeper, the air gets colder, and the scenery somehow becomes even more ridiculous. We are heading through the famous Crown Range, exploring Cardrona Alpine Resort, meeting some unexpected locals, and eventually making our way down to beautiful Wanaka. The only question is whether we are prepared for what the mountains decide to throw at us.
I brought confidence.
Then that is unfortunate because I think we needed snow chains. As we leave Queenstown behind, the road immediately begins climbing into the mountains. The Crown Range Road is one of New Zealand's most spectacular drives and is the highest main sealed road in the country, and reaching approximately 1,076 meters above sea level. For generations, travelers have crossed these mountains seeking new opportunities. Today, we are simply hoping Luna enjoys uphill exercise. The higher we climb, the wider the views become. Snow-covered peaks stretch across the horizon and valleys unfold beneath us. It feels like driving through a postcard.
I think every corner has a better view than the last one.
At this point, New Zealand is just showing off. Mountain driving in winter comes with responsibilities. Conditions can change quickly, especially at higher elevations. Today is the perfect opportunity to demonstrate how snow chains work. Before traveling Alpine roads, drivers should always check weather conditions, road closures, and chain requirements. We take a few moments to fit the chains and confirm everything is secure. It may not be the most glamorous part of road tripping, but it is definitely one of the most important.
I am starting to understand why people practice this before they actually need them.
Learning during a snowstorm is generally considered the advanced course. Soon we arrive at Cardrona Alpine Resort. In winter, these slopes become one of New Zealand's most popular ski destinations. Even if you are not skiing, the views alone are worth the journey. Standing up here, you can see mountain ranges stretching in every direction. Snow blankets the landscape, and the silence feels almost unreal. What many visitors do not realize is that Cardrona was once a small gold mining settlement during the Otago Gold Rush. The area has transformed dramatically since those early days, but the adventurous spirit remains exactly the same. While enjoying the alpine scenery, we discover that we are not the only visitors up here. A small group of feral goats appears nearby. These animals were introduced to New Zealand during the 19th century and now live throughout many remote mountain regions. They are incredibly agile and can navigate terrain. That would leave most humans questioning their life choices.
I think that goat just climbed something I would struggle to walk around.
I am beginning to suspect it is judging us.
Honestly, I think it is.
And judging by the look on its face, we are not scoring particularly well. Continuing higher, we reach one of the most famous viewpoints on the Crown Range. From here, the views seem endless. Mountains rise in every direction, valleys disappear into the distance, and the landscape feels far larger than anything a camera can capture. This route once served as an important pathway for gold miners traveling between central Otago settlements. Today, travelers come for a different treasure, the view, and what a treasure it is. Mountain roads are beautiful. They are also demanding. Long climbs place extra strain on vehicles, so regular checks are part of responsible travel. We pull over briefly to check temperatures and make sure Luna is happy. Thankfully, everything looks perfect.
Meanwhile, I am overheating just from standing outside in 3 jackets.
That may be the most impressive achievement of the day. Before descending toward Wanaka, we stop at one of New Zealand's most famous rural landmarks, the Cardrona Hotel, built in 1863. It is one of the oldest surviving hotels in the country. Its historic facade has become an icon of the South Island. Standing here feels like stepping back into the gold rush era, except today there are slightly fewer horses in the parking lot.
Slightly, maybe less horses, but more horsepower.
We should probably not give Luna any ideas. As we descend from the mountains, we arrive in Wanaka, a town surrounded by lakes, mountains, and some of New Zealand's most celebrated scenery. One of the most famous sights here is surprisingly simple. A single willow tree growing directly from the waters of Lake Wanaka, known around the world as that Wanaka tree. What started as a local curiosity has become one of the most photographed trees on Earth. It is proof that sometimes the simplest things create the biggest impressions.
Imagine being a tree and accidentally becoming famous.
That has to be one of the least stressful celebrity lifestyles available. Next, we head to Glendhu Bay. The walking track here follows the shoreline and provides stunning views across Lake Wanaka. The water reflects the surrounding mountains like a giant mirror. It is peaceful, quiet, and exactly the kind of place that encourages you to slow down. For a while, we simply enjoy the walk and take in the scenery. Sometimes adventure is not about moving faster, Sometimes it is about finally stopping long enough to appreciate where you are. Before ending the day, we stop at Parkins Bay Lookout. The late afternoon light paints the mountains in shades of gold and blue. The lake stretches into the distance, and the entire landscape feels calm. After a day of alpine roads, snow-covered mountains, historic towns, and unexpected goat encounters, it feels like the perfect place to reflect. Today was a reminder that some of the best journeys are not measured by distance. They are measured by moments. From the Crown Range and Cardrona's snowy slopes to historic hotels and the shores of Lake Wanaka, every stop revealed a different side of New Zealand. And somehow tomorrow promises even more. Because before sunrise, we will be tackling one of New Zealand's most famous hikes, a climb that rewards those willing to work for the view. And judging by how early the alarm is set, I am already concerned.
I was concerned when you said the word sunrise.
That is because you still think sunrise is a suggestion. Thanks for traveling with us today. We'll see you next week, same time, only here on the Sky 83 channel, because the best of New Zealand is still waiting.